Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakak Wadash, and double honor to the elder apostles of the great millstone that have taught us this truth, and the elder bishops on down, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Barakatam, to the overall elect, and it's your brother Laban. And I just want to give my take on this video that I saw yesterday morning, if I'm correct, at around 4 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, this came on my feed, and Nate, as the title of this video says, Bishop Nathaniel, Israel and other Israelites chased while preaching the gospel. And so the IUIC, they really have no business teaching that, because Kenya has their own issues. They're so consumed with their own issues in their own country that they don't really care about this Israelite thing. And I don't even really think that they know what an Israelite is, first and foremost, But what I want to focus on this lesson is to convey the point that most of the prophecies, end time prophecies that we talk about, first and foremost, beginning with Jacob's trouble, is going to begin in the West, primarily North America. All right. And that's what I want to basically speak on. And without further ado, I want to play some of this video, and then we're going to get to that point.
We're not on church premises. We were in our legal bounds to teach. Even one of the police officers that you see, verse 24. But he answered and said, this is Christ speaking, I am not sent but unto the lost. Talk that what that means. You look at what Christ said, he's only sent.
And yeah, you saw the video, the part of the video which showed that they got chased. And absolutely, so should they be chased, because they ain't got no business being down there. Like I said, they got their own issues over there. So for you to come around to Kenya with this Jesus Christ Israelite stuff, they ain't got time for that. And I said Jesus Christ because that's the name that they call upon, which is not the Messiah's name at all. All right?
The house of Israel, the lost sheep are we lost.
And then he even said that the land of Israel is a part of Africa. It's not a part of Africa. Israel is what is known as Asia. It's stamped as Asia, right along with Saudi Arabia. And as you can see, the connection. Okay? There's Egypt and there's Israel. Israel got to be somewhere around over there, right? So it's known as Asia. It's not known as Africa. So now let me read this in the scripture. This is 2 Timothy 3 and verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and has been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. Now, I know back at the old One West School in Harlem, 125th Street, if I'm correct, I know that the elders of that school, they didn't go travel to different parts around the planet Earth. I know they didn't do this. They taught in the land that they were located in, which was the right thing, because that's where the main prophecies are going to speak at. They're not going to speak in some land which has nothing to do with Jacob. Okay? And what he's done, and speaking about Jacob, what he's done is he's basically added different nationalities of people on that 12 tribe sign that he set up. And he's there in Kenya to substantiate that point that the Kenyans can be a part of the lost tribes of the nation of Israel. Now, who's to say that there aren't some Israelites there? I can't say that personally. But what I can say is I do know that where it concerns Jacob, what's going to happen to Jacob, it ain't going to be in Kenya. Okay? It's going to be in the West. Okay, what's spoken about what's going to happen to Jacob is going to begin in the West. All right. So if they didn't teach outside of where they were located at, I'm talking about the elders that was the head of that school. People like or let me not say that instead. Let me say the elders, right? Elders like High Priest Ariel, the elders such as King Marshar and the priest Yaiqua, they didn't do this stuff. And I have to include the Apostle Tahar as well, because I've heard something to the equivalent that Nate used to be an understudy of Apostle Tahar. All right, they didn't do this stuff, so why is he doing it? You know. So the thing of it is with the bishop here, what he's trying to do is he's trying to do too much. He's trying to exalt himself, shooting for the stars, and if he figures that his camp does something different, way out of the ordinary, then he'll stick out like a sore thumb, and all eyes will be on him as the main prophet of Israel. All right, which that's just childish behavior, man. He's too that of an old individual to be acting like this. You know, Acts 1 and verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, and this is the disciples, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. Because prophecy would have it that they would be shipped over to the Americas and they would preach there. They would have to go through slavery and the like. So, you know, that didn't have to be spoken about, you know. But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me, both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost parts of the earth. What does it mean, the uttermost parts of the earth? It means the end of the earth. Let's play this. I think it's Eshkatos.
Strong's G 2078. Eschatos. Eschatos.
Eschatos, which means the last, referring to time of space, uttermost parts, the end of the earth, of rank, grade of worth, last, i.e. lowest. And the second usage is correct. Primarily this part, the end of the earth. And that's what was said in the book of Acts 1 and 8. All right. So in the end of the earth, this would happen. Daniel's 12 and verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So let's just get this straight over here. The bulk of Jacob, yes, Jacob has been scattered abroad throughout the four winds of the earth. However, the bulk of Jacob is going to be in America. So therefore, the main deliverance will have to be there as well. This is where Yahweh Shah is going to begin to visit the earth which he made. Okay? So let's even further prove that as well. Let's get this. Jeremiah 3 and verse 8. In those days, the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, the southern and the northern kingdom, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers, which is the land of Israel. Okay, so when we're talking about Jacob's trouble is going to begin in the West, and as well as primarily in America. When we're talking about Jacob's trouble, when we're talking about the mark of the beast, all of these end time prophecies, which is going to open the doors to the invitation of the second return of the Messiah, it's all going to begin in the West. Okay. And that's why most of the men primarily in GMS, beginning with the brothers in Europe. I want to start there. You know, you have the brothers in Holland that's teaching. I believe you have maybe 2 camps in Germany. All right. You may have a camp in, you have a camp in Italy. And then you have a camp down here in the UK. You have maybe about 4 different camps in the UK, but we're all one. We're all one camp, but there's like, splits of camps. So you have the camps that are in strategic places where they need to be, because what we're here to do, as is written in the book of Ezekiel 35, is to prophesy against Mount Seir, which Mount Seir in this case has become the beast. All right. So the beast is basically the main kingdom right now. So we're supposed to be in the beast, prophesying against it. We have no business teaching in places like Kenya and other places which has nothing to do where the prophecies are going to take place. All right. So Nate and all of his men have went there, wasted their money and wasted a lot of energy. All right. And in the middle of all of that, they got chased and hurled down the streets of Kenya. And if I didn't say it, I'm going to say it, man. Them Kenyan people, they got their own problems to deal with, man. They're so consumed in their own issues that they don't care about who's an Israelite, who ain't an Israelite. And they don't care to know. All right. So that's all I'm saying from that point. So yeah, the word eschatos kind of is reminiscent to the word eschatology, which means the study of the last days, or the end of the world, something to that equivalent anyway, just to mention. Okay, so now I want to read this as well. Jeremiah 16 and verse 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all of the land whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. So the salvation which is coming is going to far trump the salvation which took place in ancient Egypt. Although we're going to remember in history how we were delivered in ancient Egypt, but this is more so going to be on front to remember, because this deliverance was much more greater due to the fact that we suffered greatly in the West, which is where we are at, which is known as the New Egypt. All right. Primarily, again, America in this case. Baruch, 5 and verse 5. Arise, O Jerusalem, and stand on high, and look about towards the east. Why? Because we're going back there. And behold, thy children gather from the west unto the east by the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the remembrance of the Most High. So the point is that first and foremost, the elect are going to be delivered. Or should I have said first, found, and then they're going to be delivered from the west, and they're going to go right back to the Holy Land. So according to the prophecy, there's no need to be in places such as Kenya, where there's no descendant. Well, I'm not going to say that. You may have some people that are descendants of Jacob in the land of Kenya, but nothing's going to happen there where it concerns the major prophecies, man. And that's all I got to really say. That was basically my point that I wanted to make on this. So with that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, Bashem Rakah Akwadash. And double honors to the elder apostles, and to include the elder bishops and the brothers on down. Yahweh Bashmi Shai Brakathum to you all of the elect, 144,000, and as well as the rest of the elect, whom is the 1/3 that do follow, whom this gospel is for, and it's your brother Laban. I'm out. Shalom.